Hi there, it's Jack Taylor with another Easy to Golf quick tip. And this really is an important question I'd really love you to think about answering. What is the easiest way for you to learn to golf? Now, again, it's not a trick question, but what I want you to think about is that the best way for you to learn to golf is actually the same way you probably learned how to ride a bike or a bunch of other things you might be very successful at. You got out on the bike every day. Okay, so, and why did you get on the bike every day? Well, you got a new bike, your parents gave you a new bike, and your buddies around you had bikes and you had to get out and ride with them. And so every day you were determined to bug your dad or your mom, whoever it was that taught you to ride, to practice or get out on your bike every day. And it may have only been for 15 minutes or half an hour or whatever it was, but every day you did it. And that was despite the skinned knees and wiping out over the handlebars like I can remember doing several times myself, but you did it every day. So the real quick, easy way to learn to golf is to try to find whatever it is you have to be working on lesson-wise, to take that material, that feeling, that instruction, and practice it for 5 minutes every day. Now, that can be hard to do, but what I'm really trying to suggest to you is instead of thinking about, well, gee, that means I got to go to the range and hit balls or whatever it is, I'm going to suggest you try to set up some sort of a home studio or home area where you can actually practice whatever it is you're happy working on in your golf swing. And I have lots of ways to show you how to do that. And you'll get to know them over the course of the other videos that you see through me. But what I want you to get a sense of is that you need to create some sort of a simple area that will allow you to practice exactly what you're doing and to be able to do it casually so that, you know, like whether you're practicing your grip with a grip trainer or you're practicing learning how to release your golf club with a light trainer or whatever it might happen to be that I'll teach you and show you about, you're going to be able to do it automatically at home so that when you actually go to the range or on the golf course it becomes much more automatic. And that includes as well, and I highly recommend setting up some sort of mirror that you can see yourself. Mirrors are fantastic for learning from. But in any case, what I want you to think about doing to help you learn quicker and faster is this idea of setting up this home station so that you can practice exactly what you're learning in a lesson. And the other thought I really want you to think about too, because I hear this occasionally too, is that, you know, like Jack, I managed to block out all of Thursday to practice. So for 8 hours I practiced. And what I want you to think about is that the better golfers, it's not how we learn and how we practice. We practice every day. And if you think about it, you may have heard of, you know, somebody's kid who got dropped off at the golf course every day, and they started off as a 120 handicap and now they're shooting par and they're 14 or 15 or 16. And how did this happen? Well, every single day they're dropped off at the golf course. And even though their swing may not have been great or whatever, they've learned a swing that works for them and they play with it every day and they've gotten better and better, and maybe with some good instruction as well. But my point is that they did it every day. Now, the reality is you and I, because of our time demands, don't have that option. You know, that's just not the way the real world works. And I totally understand that, okay? But what I want to suggest to you is that if you create this kind of home studio to work with, and I'll show you some pictures of mine as well, you'll really get a sense about being able to become successful, and you'll feel much more confident about your golf game because you can practice a lot at home, practice what you've actually learned at home at the range, and then also when you actually go play, you'll be able to feel like you can put what you practice both at home and at the range into practice. And the other thought I have about practice as well, okay, is because I listen to this as well, I'll do a lesson with a student on a Sunday or a Monday or whatever it happens to be, and they'll come back to me the next Monday and say, well, you know, Jack, I played twice or I played 3 times. And what I really want you to think about is that playing is not practicing. Okay, to become a successful player, a successful golfer, the rule of thumb is that for every hour you play, there should be an hour of practice. So if you play for 4 or 5 hours a round of golf, you really should have that same week put in 4 or 5 hours of practice. Now, I'm not asking that from you because, again, just getting back to our time constraints, but what I'm going to highly suggest to you is that, like I said, if you can create some sort of little practice area at home, and it doesn't really matter what the limitations are. I happen to be in a room here which has 8-foot ceilings, so I have a few marks on my ceiling despite my wife's yelling at me. But what I'd say is that at the end of the day, you need to be creative, but you need to create something that's going to allow you to practice more and more conveniently than just necessarily running to the range or the club or whatever it might happen to be.